Hi, Catherine. This is Eric. I'm here to supply these fun answers for you. You're currently outside by the sound of the gardening hose, and I'm about to leave for Iceland in incredible fashion. I'm doing this at the last minute because of who I am as a person. So I've got the questions down below. I'm going to read them off and tell you my answer. Question 1. What is something Catherine does often that she wouldn't want us to know, or only that I know? So I had to think about this for a little bit, and it's gonna sound strange, but Catherine screams a lot. Not like angrily at somebody, and I know it can sound confusing, but she'll just be like a different floor than I am and just yell. And that could be for absolutely nothing. I could ask her what's going on. I could go upstairs, and turns out she screamed as if somebody was inside because she saw an ant, or she messed up a stitch on knitting or something like that. But it is getting to the point where I can't distinguish, like, she dropped scissors on her foot and she needs to go to the hospital, and she, got some marker on a piece of clothing. She'll just yell. So, question 2, if Catherine was stranded on a deserted island, what 3 things would she want, excluding you and Blue? This question I think I spent the most time on, and it's hard, and I think I have the worst answer for it, and I finally realized why I think I do, and I think my worst answer comes from the fact that I think Catherine's dream is to be stranded on an island. I don't think she wants anything. Like, I started listing down things, just like, I actually don't think she'd want that. That'd take away from the island. So I don't know if one answer is nothing. She just wants to be on an island. But assuming this is, no rescue possible, we're not going super practical here. The 3 things I would say she want is 1, her cut flower gardening book. It's a compendium on what to do for all types of flowers to grow and how to cut them. She has read that thing back to front about 12 times now. 2, a laptop with trashy TV. Her description of trashy is very different than my description of trashy, but she's currently on some Sydney Sweeney movie. I don't know, but she hates it, but she keeps watching. And the last one is a magical vat of blank slate ice cream that is always frozen and never melts, specifically bourbon turtle. Question 3, what part of the wedding are you most excited for? And also, what part of the wedding is Catherine most excited for? I'm actually very excited to say I'm pretty confident that both of our answers for this would be the same. And I think that's just going to be bringing friends together. So Catherine and I feel like we've lived kind of a number of different lives. So we each have friends from back home, we have friends from DC, friends from master's programs, friends from Ann Arbor and his PhD. We've just been bopping around, and we have all these disjointed sets of friends that we're really convinced would have a blast with each other. And I think this is a great excuse to get everyone together, and it's going to be an awesome time. So I think that's going to be what we're both most excited for. I think maybe a close second here is going to be just showing off Ann Arbor. I think we're really excited. There's a lot we love about this place. And it also makes sense that we're far away and there's not a ton of reasons for people to come here. So to convince everyone to come for a wedding, I think we're excited to show off Ann Arbor a little bit. Question 4, describe Catherine's perfect day. This one's somewhat easy, but it would be waking up, probably going to get a coffee, maybe a Q bakery by our house, grabbing a little something for her to eat. If we're going really bougie, it'd be going to the Dick Sparrow Project to get her some really fancy coffee and some pastries. And then we'd be going straight to hiking. Maybe we bike there. But we go to a hike, and this hike for the perfect day would have to end near a swimming hole. And Catherine would go swimming. She has her bathing suit no matter where she goes. And then we come home, maybe make a little food or have a little drink to something, and then head straight into gardening. We'd garden for the rest of the day, and eventually we'd end up with friends downtown, either grabbing a bite to eat, but more likely grabbing drinks at the end of the night. All right, 5. What about Catherine was most attractive to you when you first met? I think it had to have been her sense of humor. Like, right off the bat, she was very, very funny in a very genuine way. That wasn't... She's never been somebody that, tries to think, oh, what would be funny to say in this moment, or what would somebody else say. She really just says what she thinks, and what she thinks is hilarious. And so I just noticed that she was a really funny person right off the bat, and that was really attractive to me. But also, as I got to know her more and more, some of the other features that became more and more attractive and very obvious were just her thoughtfulness for people around her, and also people that aren't around her. She's very thoughtful about both her immediate friends, but also about people that she's never met. in her line of work, in what she wants to do with her life. I think it's something that's truly endearing about her. What was the first time you realized you liked each other more than friends? So unlike you, Jill, I don't stay friends with my partners for 5 years and then decide to date 10 years later. No, Catherine and I knew it was a setup from the beginning. We had a mutual friend who was on my volleyball team from Catherine. Catherine and I went to college together, and I knew it was a setup. And so from right off the bat, I knew it was like, at least interested. And then as I got to meet her throughout the night, I was like, okay, I'm definitely interested. Catherine was less than enthused that first night. Wouldn't let me get her a drink or even water. Told me she'd get my number from her friend the next day, which, it's pretty easy to get. Was it 9 digits? So yeah, I think that would be more of a question for Catherine, because I think I knew pretty quickly that I would like her more than a friend. 7. When was Catherine the most embarrassed by something you did in public? I don't think I have an answer for this. I actually don't. Catherine is borderline immune from public embarrassment, and I have her dad to thank for that. I have tried to embarrass her at times, and it just doesn't work. And then she usually one-ups me and does something that I'm embarrassed by. This isn't even a cop-out. I genuinely don't think I've ever embarrassed her in public, which is not because I haven't done embarrassing things. I think she just has an obscenely high tolerance for embarrassment. Question 8, who is the weirdest quirk and what is it? So, Catherine, I think, holds the top 5 weirdest quirks in this household. So I think that's a pretty easy answer. But I would have to argue that Catherine's strangest quirk is if you were to leave her alone for long enough, she will inevitably do something that we refer to as stimming, which is start singing a recent song that she heard, but it's not even necessarily the right words, and it's only about a 5-second portion of that, and then she'll just loop it and just sing that 5 seconds again and again and again and again. Or if you're really lucky and you leave her be for long enough, church hymns will start being sung. Very early on, I was not getting up quick enough for her, and she just started throwing curtains, singing Open the Gates. So question 9, what's the first thing you learned about each other when you became roommates? I think this is a very loaded question, or maybe loaded's not the right word, but difficult question, because it's not like we just were together for a year or 2 years and we're like, hey, what do you think about living together? The pandemic sent us from being long distance partners to living together overnight, and not just living together, but also Catherine living with my family overnight. So what we learned about each other very quickly is that we're both, I think, resilient, that we're compatible. I think people can be kind of spooked about moving in together and how does that translate. But yeah, I don't think I have a funny quirk right off the bat about being in a house. She learned that I don't do the dishes, something like that. We're in a very particular situation. So I think the first thing I learned was that we were compatible, and that was really reassuring, and she was very kind and really put up with a lot during the beginnings of lockdown. Who was the first one to say I love you? This is the subject of our relationship lore. I think I've gaslit myself on this one. I don't even know. And that's kind of a weird thing to say. I am convinced it had to be me, because I was much more into this relationship in the beginning than Catherine was. I know that when Catherine took me to Detroit, I thought we were at least boyfriend-girlfriend at that point, but Catherine informed me she wasn't even sure we were dating, but she took me on a trip. So I feel terrible. I think Catherine, if she remembers, this is going to be a shock to me, because I think we've talked about this. We don't even recall exactly when. But there's absolutely no way it wasn't me first. I was too into it. Question 11, what's Catherine's favorite thing about you? This is a very vain question. I don't like answering these. I think Catherine has said in the past, what she likes most about me, though, is due to my aversion to silence in social situations, I tend to talk and bring people into conversations. And so I think I'm pretty good at helping people feel included in conversations and social situations, and I think Catherine likes that. So, what's your favorite thing about Catherine? So this one's much easier for me to answer. there's a lot about Catherine. I think by far, though, my favorite thing is she is a truly impressive individual about, when it comes to the level of thought and care that she gives to the people around her. Like, people, all around me remember birthdays or, we'll give a gift to somebody. Catherine will think about people's birthdays 6 months in advance. We'll be traveling somewhere, she'll see something and she'll just say, this is perfect. And then she'll, plant a garden around certain flowers that she knows people want to, or love, so that she can clip them and give them as gifts. She just is constantly thinking about the people around her and how much she cares about them and how to like truly take care of them. And it's something that's just like truly amazing about her. And I'm kind of in awe of how good she is at it, how much attention and energy she puts into it. It's a really amazing thing. And last question. What's the one thing you want to say to Catherine as she celebrates her bachelorette weekend? I'm sorry Jill refused to spring for the strippers. I think that would be hilarious. I still think it'd be hilarious. But no, I think we have been dashing lately on a number of axes. We've got housework, we've got the wedding planning, we've got Blue being a disaster, but we love him to death, but my God, is he a disaster. We've just been busy. We've been doing a lot. And I really, really, really hope that she takes the time to properly celebrate herself, allow herself to be celebrated, and, look around her and see the people that love her and just, let people spoil her. I think she deserves it. I really hope she enjoys this trip. So have fun, guys.